There isn't a Twitch stream without some kind of technical difficulty. I think that's
We
just bound to happen.
we just haven't done this in a hot minute, you know?
I can't even remember when the last time we streamed was. I think it might have been like April or something like that.
We were busy making a video game.
We were
called
busy
Stereo
making a
Boy.
video game. Anyways, well, welcome to folks that are on the stream. This is the Stereo Boy launch stream. This is, as we were saying before, the first time we've streamed in probably minimum 3 or 4 months at this point, right?
I missed it. I miss doing live dev on the stream, so
yeah,
it'll be fun to play a game on stream instead.
It is also our first
game release. So first a lot of things tonight.
It's a first a lot of things. Yeah.
We're doing firsts.
It's our first it's our first game that we've launched. It's our first launch stream. So bear with us as we work through the kinks. Tonight we're going to be playing through the game a little bit, and then we're going to also talk a little bit about how the game was made. And it was made by the three faces that you see in the upper right hand corner, going from left to right. If I'm seeing this correctly, I think the person on the left is me, right? My name is Jeff. In the middle is Dom. Dom is also our MC tonight, or our host tonight, at least. He's going to be the one playing the game.
Got my
And
controller.
then over on the right, last but not least, is Steve. So we have been working on this game for the last 6 months. Just launched it today, and you can get it on Steam. But before you try to buy it on Steam, it's worth me repeating multiple times tonight on this stream that there is a URL in the lower right-hand corner of the stream, stereoboygame.com/launch. You can fill out a little form, and as long as supplies last, we will send you a free Steam key. We got 100 of them that we're going to be giving away this week. So go ahead and fill that form out. If more than 100 people enter, though, we're going to have to figure out a way to give out the game. I think it'll be luck of the draw at that point. But yeah, please fill out that form. We won't spam you. Please play the game. Please enjoy it. We want as many people as possible to play the game.
Yeah, we are like ethical game developers. We agonized for nearly a week about how to ask for consent about analytics. We bring only the highest standard of not fucking with your data to video games.
You never know. Like we didn't have real data at the time. Once we start getting real data, we'll get addicted to it, right? And then we'll start doing nefarious things with it.
No, I will turn this company around. Do you like my seamless Stereo Boy background?
It's pretty amazing, actually. You came prepared for the stream in a way that I'm not. Like, I don't even know if I'm wearing like the right clothes or anything.
No, I'm smoking my own supply. I've had this as my background since we got the key art because I just like looking at it. It reminds me that we're making a
It's
game.
pretty sweet art. I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. We found a gentleman named Adriana to help us out with the art, with that particular piece of art, and it came out really
Adriana Portugal from Portugal was a real hero.
Yeah, we should definitely send them a key when we can.
Strong agree, and like tweet their thing so they can get some more business because they rocked.
Yeah,
I'm gonna start the game up.
Let's play some Stereo Boy.
Yeah. So I would please give feedback on sound levels, chat. And Jeff and Steve, but let's tell me if it's too loud. I can control it over here, though I did discover an audio bug today. So
what was the audio bug?
Sometimes the audio jumps back up to 100. I filed a card. We got an update one coming out.
Don't worry, we got it in the backlog. We're already getting day one bugs, which is fine. That's just the way that this kind of thing works, right?
Yeah. All right. Welcome to Stereo Boy. I feel like should we thank our playtesters first?
Yeah, let's talk about our playtesters. We had a great playtesting process, actually.
We did. I really appreciated. We had close friends and family all popping in to I don't know. We got we tested some very raw versions of the game. Got some very raw feedback that was truly helpful. The versions of this thing that we're not shipping are very different.
Yeah.
How's the little music coming across there?
It's good. I think the sound balance is pretty good relative to your voice, and that's what I'm going to assume the stream is hearing right now.
I think that's good. But yeah, all these lovely people played the game 4 hours, got on Zoom calls with us for like 2 hours at a time, and let us like watch and record their every move as they struggled through bugs and funny controls and things that didn't work right. So the true heroes are scrolling by right now.
The amount of like last minute stuff that we threw into the game as the result of like working with playtesters was impressive. To the degree that I mean, it almost makes me feel like we should have started playtesting a lot earlier. But then, like, when would we have had the time, right?
Yep. Yeah. So some friends who did late playtest were like, please feel free to call me earlier, and I will next time. Now I know. I think I was afraid to show the thing to people when it felt so unfinished.
It was pretty rough for a long time. So I think maybe we got it to a point that like it was actually playable by other people, right? Like we had a whole month of trying to get it into that shape. So
I know it's only we worked on this game for 6 months. That is such a short game time. I'm gonna hit the play button. Let's hope that my save data is clear.
Oh, do you want me to point out a bug right now that I haven't filed a card for?
No. Yeah, tell me.
I think that the O's are getting truncated on Stereo Boy. Like, I think they're getting slightly cut up at the top.
Jeff, no. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
All right, file a card.
I think this is obvious to everybody in the stream, but this playthrough that we're doing right now, we're not going to get super deep into the game, but like, I don't know how much replay value this game actually has, right? It's like a great discovery process of learning the mechanics of the game. But there's some spoiler warnings that I'm going to put out right now.
I'm going to play dumb. I might skip the story. The story is actually pretty great, and Jeff wrote like a solid 70% of it, if not 80 or 90. And it's really good. So I'm going to skip the story stuff.
It's okay. Skip the story. It's fine.
Yeah.
Because if you did the story, you'd have to do the voices, right?
I am not doing the voices. Cool.
Okay.
All right. Here goes nothing. It's looking good. All right. Now let's just see. How's my motion coming across on stream?
I think it's coming off pretty good.
That looks fine. Okay, cool. So we've got our little hero here, Blit the red robot, moves around with my left stick. And as the tutorial is going to tell me in a second, I have the ability to teleport across the other side of the screen. It has this very satisfying sort of CRT television effect, which I really hope Zoom and Twitch are not just compressing to hell, because it's a fun little bounce.
It's got a bit of, I can see the wobble. I can see the scan lines.
Okay, the wobble is there. That's great.
Yeah.
Wobble is there. So every level is 2 sides of, well, different worlds. We sort of explore that in the story. But there are different obstacles in each one. Like I can't teleport over here, but I can here because it's the same elevation in both worlds. So it's like safety. By the end, you're thinking with portals quite a bit. So if I walk into the glowing light, that's the end of the level. I'm going to do it because this level is short.
Nice.
I did it.
Did you intentionally pick the blue and red gradient backgrounds to evoke Mobius, or was that just what was that was just what felt good to you?
If I did it on purpose, that would have been really cool. But in fact, I just sort of went with something non-attention grabbing.
Yeah,
but you're right.
It might just be in the air, right? We've just consumed a lot of Mobius.
There's a lot of Mobius games now.
Yeah,
there's a lot of Mobius games.
If folks don't know Mobius, you can Google Mobius as in Mobius strip, but also I think what is it? What was the game that just came out with the hover bike and you're on that tent? Sable, right?
Sable.
They also announced that like rollerblading combat game.
Yes.
With the same style.
That looks so good. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, stream props to Roller Dome. It looks very fun. I'm gonna play it.
Yeah.
Definitely feel like Sable kicked off that trend. There's a couple more, I can't remember the name of them though.
Yeah, I saw like a Mobius city builder go by, which is a very cool idea. If you can make an entire game out of one aesthetic, like power to you. I think that's a really great it's a powerful aesthetic then. This level looks a lot like the last level. There's just a couple more obstacles in the way. There's a wall here that you sort of have to use your teleport brain to decide that you're gonna go to the other world to do it, and then a ramp here that you can't get up unless you switch back. We're just, trying our best to teach the basics of multi-dimensional traversal.
And you're playing with the gamepad right now, Dom?
I am playing with the game. I want that
Cool.
sweet analog motion.
Yeah.
It plays well with keyboard and mouse, but it plays just better with the gamepad.
I think it's better with the gamepad, but most people play with the keyboard and mouse because the support is reasonable, right?
Oh yeah, it works great. It works great,
Yeah.
but I think it's comfort. When you do keyboard and mouse, you get this you only get these 8 degrees of motion just because that's how it works. So you have to either hold 2 keys down or you kind of do a little crab walk around. Gamepad just looks nice.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel like
my friend-
1 week ago, this level looked really rough on this side, and now it looks
Okay.
really good. The shadow is super crisp. The ramp is really visible right there. Whatever you
What did
did,
you
whatever
change?
juju you did here,
Oh.
it looked good.
you know what I did? I just rotated the light in this level 10 degrees,
Yeah, there you go.
and this level only.
Yeah,
Because it had readability problems. And it's because we hadn't taught people about camera controls at this point, which was important. Actually, I was gonna say my friend and former coworker Sean Sorrell popped this on his Steam Deck and said it played great. Which is
that's
really
fantastic.
Really nice to hear. Yeah, it was a big surprise.
I was about to buy our studio a Steam Deck, but I
We might have
eventually
gotten
got
it
a
this week.
refund for my reservation because I realized that I was coveting hardware rather than earnestly trying to do something that would push our game development activities forward.
I mean, understandably, I want to play Elden Ring on the bus. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't because I finished it, but I would like to have played Elden Ring on the bus.
It's worth saying that not only did we finish this game in a tight schedule, relatively on time with a couple of pushbacks or a couple of delays, but we also, the 3 of us, finished this game in the throes of pretty severe Elden Ring addiction while that was all going on. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
Steve, did you beat Elden Ring yet?
I did.
Yeah. So we made a video game and finished Elden Ring.
I
A
didn't
greater
get
achievement I can't
Milani
imagine.
yet, so there's that.
How many hours were you at the end, Steve?
I don't know, over 150, I think.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, I was 120 or something. It was painful.
Yeah. So this level
this level-
teaches you about the hologram guy, right?
Yeah, it teaches you this little you get sort of a echo of yourself on the other side when you can teleport. The lighting sort of tries to the world you're not in looks like it's sort of in shadow. And it also teaches you about the obscure, you get this nice silhouette of the player moving through, which I think we debated about adding, and then I realized it was 10 minutes of Unity's docs to turn this on.
Did we? Was it controversial, or was it just was I classically no, that's hard, and then you do it in 10 minutes, and I'm like, oh, okay, great.
It was exactly that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of our features get added. And
I
think I've said that
feel
too.
like
I'm that
that's the
sounds
general
hard.
roles that we play, right? I'm just no, that's hard, and then Dom does it.
Well, it's hard, and then I add a bad version of it, and you're like, "Oh, that was easy," and then you make it actually look good. All right. Well, here's a new level.
The newest level comes quick.
This is technically the newest level in the game, yeah. Because we had to add this little radar to the game because all our playtesters, very reasonably, were having trouble orienting themselves in this isometric world that kind of looks like an Escher painting. Which, I don't blame you.
So to be
this is really fun.
Yeah, to carry it forward a theme, this was another feature where I was like, no, that's hard. And then enough of our playtesters mentioned this being a problem that we're like, okay, let's take a day to do it. And we roughly did it in 3 days, maybe. So didn't quite make it across the line in a day.
Day and a half, yeah. I like, yeah, it's nice. You sort of, you've got this gold rectangle on your character, and you can see when you're inside a wall on the other side, which I think is really helpful. You can see when you're floating in the air over here, which I think is really helpful. And you can definitely see sort of when you're just on.
Yeah.
Well,
there's a lot of
the whole
subtlety to
thing
this
works really good.
effect, actually. I made sure that if the hologram does show up organically, you can actually teleport, that it doesn't stay in the
Yeah, I
middle
really
there.
appreciate that because over here the hologram. Oops, why I went to level where it's over here the hologram is sort of snapped
Floating in
into
midair. Yeah.
Yeah, but here it's it's me, the player shadow, which is really, really clever.
Yeah. I like the little dissipation particles on that effect. They feel good.
Oh, thank you. I got a lot better at particles in like the last month of the game, and I really those little cubes that appear around him or appear around Blip when you teleport, are definitely from the game jam. I haven't changed them.
Yeah, we will play
That's
the Game
fine.
Jam game tonight, just so folks can get like a good contrast of.
It's a good game. They're good games.
It's a good
but-
game. They're good games, Dom. They're good games, Steve. What's
Is that the only asset you think made it all the way from the jam?
lots of sound effects.
Yeah, this teleport
yeah.
fail as well. And there's a couple effects that still use like the cube particle motif.
Yeah. I guess maybe the glowy exit doors the same too.
Oh yeah, the glowy exit doors.
The key is exactly the same, I want to say.
I mean, these exit doors look so great. Why would I change them?
In chat, Ado Adorable says, "Ooh, I didn't realize there was a Game Jam version." Well, we will play it tonight. It's on itch.io, so you could play it as well. And it's a fun A/B test with Stereo Boy.
It is wild. I tried. I played a little bit before this. It's wild how hard it is to control after doing this. So
you kind of need a gamepad, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't have gamepad support.
Oh, it does.
Oh, it does? Oh, okay, great.
Totally
Maybe I
does.
should try with the gamepad.
It's really hard with the keyboard because the guy is super fast. He's like 3
know what
times
it is?
faster than.
My gamepad.
I'll have to go back and try it again. It's been a while.
Sorry, what were you saying, Dom?
Oh, this gamepad has a broken shoulder button because these DualSenses are flimsy as hell.
Oh no.
So it means I can't rotate the game jam version. Immaterial. This level is meant to very excitingly. I like watching people play this because they just start wandering over here and then they're like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
And then they read the text and they're like, oh.
Yeah, we never quite cracked the nut on getting people to pay attention to the tutorial text, right? And I think Steve, you were the one that was saying like, just put it right in the middle, man. Just put it right in the middle. And I was like, no, it's too much.
Yeah,
And I think I was.
Steve is not wrong. I mean, from all my years of being a web developer, which I hope I have just as many years of being a game developer ahead of me in my career now. People do not read shit.
So that's the thing is that like, even if we made the
It's
text
fine.
massive, would they still
It's
not
fine.
see it? Right.
Yeah, I can live with that. It's totally good.
Yeah.
Honestly, one of our older levels. We get them. So we've got these fun little shards. I mean, I think very early on we decided that we needed some sort of shiny object. This was a nice way to just teach about them. Got our nice UI in the top.
Yeah. So the shards are not essential to the game. You can beat the game without collecting a single shard. In fact, we should make an achievement for that. Like, beat the game with no shards. It's like an achievement you can't get after the first time you get a shard, but like, it would be interesting.
We gotta reset.
Yeah.
Save date button.
Right. But yeah, the shards will help you unlock other levels, bonus levels
And,
that aren't
like-
required to beat the game.
And you get achievements for collecting shinies, which every game has those, and it's great.
Yeah.
I really like the exploration aspect, and I enjoyed watching players just be like, oh cool, there's a shiny thing over there, I gotta get it. And I was like, you don't gotta get it, but like, yeah, you do you.
Some people really like getting the shinies. I think it's just that's the language in modern video games where they're like, here's a shiny, you got to go get it. You know what I mean? Maybe dating back to Mario or even whatever, Pac-Man.
And some people were like, oh, I don't care about that. And I was like, great, that's why they're not important.
Yeah, right.
So I thought it worked out quite well.
Yeah.
In that sense. Oh yeah, here's our poster level. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like the way you placed the starting tile here. Good work.
I did, and I lowered the camera a little bit to start it off. I just thought it was a nice set piece. I
Yeah,
feel like
this one was really fun.
the level before this one, Quantum Archway, and this level, Desert Labyrinth, it was like basically stacking our first really good looking level next to like our modern really good looking level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is the one that we use for all of our trailer shots and that kind of thing because it's pretty impressive.
It's just a beautiful
It's like a comic book.
contrast.
Yeah. The desert wind particles. I really like them.
That's from like February, man. I can't believe they're still in here and working. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing what parts of the game have changed and what haven't. Yeah, what am I doing? I want to get my shinies. I gotta get my shinies.
Gotta get the shinies. I don't know if it's coming across on stream, but the music changes when you teleport. Actually, that was something we kind of went back and forth on pretty early on. We weren't really sure whether that was the right thing to do, but then we just did it.
I think it's great. I like our original dream was to compose music and have it be the same track in 2 keys or 2 modes or.
Yes. I had that video tucked away. Maybe I can send it to you over Discord. It
was really cool. Yeah.
It was cool. Yeah. I found these two Bach trainer pieces that people who know piano will know the minuet in G major and minuet in G minor, and they're exactly the same piece except they're in minor and major. And I originally wanted to just like compose pairs of music for every single level, but that might have been, of all the things that we did that were crazy for this project, like try to get it done in 6 months or like throw in all that extra crap at the end of the cycle, like trying to compose all that music would have been like the stupidest thing that I could have done.
That would have been so hard. Ada says, there's something I love about this kind of diorama-like visuals. A lot of people have compared this to Monument Valley, but my main comparison is Captain Toad. You're on the money.
Check and check. Everyone's saying Monument Valley and Captain Toad. We actually even said that to ourselves. Yeah, it's great. Those are great games.
Yeah, I made Jeff take that out of the marketing copy because I wasn't willing to compare to other games, but but it's true. My favorite feature about this level is like these like perfect cubes, and I built a little room back here that you only see if you go for it. It also says there's a funky SRS game for PSN. I think that's called Echochrome.
Echochrome, yeah.
Oh yeah, the one where you like fall through the holes and like connect the things.
Yeah. Echochrome was. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, is it? I think it's on the new PS Plus, and I think they added I don't know, it's a PSP game, but it's on PS5 under emulation, which is really cool. It's good shit. I like seeing some preservation of those old handheld games.
Yes. Echochrome, it was the first game to use isometric perspective to let you walk across bridges that only exist when the camera is in a certain angle. And then I think Monument Valley basically took that wholesale, right? They just this is great.
Absolutely.
We'll make it pretty here. We'll add color. You know what I mean? That's basically what their innovation was. And it was great.
It was a good innovation. Yeah. I'm gonna read one log just because
yes.
Because we made a whole interface, I might as well show it. Arrival at SO671. So I'm very curious if people ever understand that this is not the main character talking, but I hope so.
I think we had a couple iterations on that portrait where it's like, let's take out the radar dish, let's make him green, let's make his face really big, and I still have the same question. Are people gonna understand that this is not Blit or this is not you?
It's okay, because if they do think it's you, I think the whole thing basically works. There's a different tone to the story.
Yeah, that's true.
It'd be a little surprising, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But Blit is you, and Blit is who this character talks about very frequently.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that we added based on playtesting was a story when everyone was like, what's happening? Why is the world like this? This is so interesting. And I was like, oh, damn it. That's a really good question. Why is the world like this?
Yeah.
So, happy.
We're doing good on time, by the way. It's just a quick time check for us. We're at 6:30. I don't think we should switch off this. I think we should get through most of Area 1 at least to show off more mechanics. And
I'm playing intentionally slowly and talking about stuff, but I think
that's great. No, this is perfect. I did want to mention to folks who are just joining the stream that we are giving the game away right now. Go to the URL down in the lower right corner, stereoboygame.com/launch, fill out the form, and as long as we've got keys, we'll send you the game.
Heck yeah. Yeah, we got games to give. Here's our first not controversial anymore, combat level. This game originally was a twin stick shooter, so it was left stick to move around, right stick to aim your little gun, and the camera controls were not so fluid. But then we actually took it and you hold down X, and when you hold down X, your character becomes sort of a rotating turret. Which means that you can't run away from things when you're shooting, which is, I think, actually very pleasant to the chill, puzzling nature, because it meant we had to slow down enemies and sort of make the whole game feel not like a action game.
Yeah.
And that was good for it. I think it was very good for the game.
Now, we take a look at some of the game jam levels that are just like straight up twin stick shooter levels where you have to
they're arcade games, basically,
it's
right?
very different.
Yeah. And I think we tried to bring some of those levels over and cut them, which they were good levels, and I'm sad to do it. I think that I want to make an action game, and hopefully we don't accidentally make a puzzle game again.
Yeah. I mean, for what it's worth, I still think the action version of this game, where you're teleporting around and different enemies have different abilities depending on the side, is actually still an ideal.
Like also a good game, right? Yeah.
There's like a Musou version of this, right? There's like Stereo Boy Brawlers somewhere out there that we could make.
What I like, one of the things, so you've got teleport and you've got shoot. We never really teach it, but there's like you can charge up your shot and then teleport, and you can do some like teleporty combat stuff, which I think you have to do to beat some of like the challenge levels near the end, and to get all the shards, or maybe to do a run with no damage. But I really like the teleport. Like, you're a turret, but you still got your little jump drive.
Yeah, dropping advanced tactical knowledge on people. That's like a fun Easter egg that we don't need to tutorialize, and people just kind of figure it out, or they don't.
Or they don't. And like the game is totally fine if you don't ever figure that out, which I like. But if you do, it's cool.
Yeah.
Jeff, I think this is actually the most controversial level that we like added and removed twice.
Yeah. I think when we didn't have a free orbit camera, it was quite difficult. This is the original level that we made to kind of like train people how to rotate the camera.
It's really punishing. Can I even simulate it? Like, we used to have the controls were like you'd press a button and it would just rotate 45 degrees really fast, and then it would rotate 40. You'd only get these 45-degree increments.
And originally it was on the edges, not the corners. That like, and if we play the Game Jam game today, if there's time, you'll see that, right? It was on the edges and not the corners. I
kind of did this via protest, where I just started like committing levels that instead of being 90 degrees were 45 degrees offset, and I was like, it looks better.
Yeah.
And I think y'all eventually, Jeff and Steve, y'all just were like, okay, it does look better. Like, we should just figure out how to make that work.
No, I mean, I don't think anybody's reluctant for it. I think as soon as we saw it, we were just like, yeah, that looks better. And it's like, whatever comes.
I think we're reluctant that maybe the gameplay would become worse, but it's like, oh, it looks so much better, it's worth it. I mean, I think still mildly skeptical on gameplay until the free camera went in.
Yeah.
And I think that was the game changer.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it wasn't actually clear. Like, we still had such trade-offs where it was like, was this worth it, or should we go back to 90 degrees? Pushing blocks around was just so painful until we finally got some of the helper controls in there.
I think what also happened is we gradually started making the game look better, right? Like, we started to add a little, like, it wasn't just a gray box level anymore, and we're just like, wow, we can't really see how cool the level looks just on the camera angles that we're providing the player. So why don't we let them move around?
And it's hard to read. It's hard to read depth here. Like,
yeah.
Can I get my mouse cursor over here? Is my cursor on the stream? We'll see.
It is. Yeah.
Okay, right, because it's a game object. Lovely. Like, this is a giant incline over here, and it's really obvious from an angle, but from the side, it's just like, there were some real readability problems with just everything when it's straight on. So I think it really it unlocked a lot of our level design ability as well. Yeah. I missed a shard, and I'm not going to show you how to get it.
This is the yes, that's actually, this is the first really hard shard in the game, I think. And yeah, we don't need to spoil it.
It's moderately hard. Yeah.
It's the one that when I watched playtesters play, they struggle with this one, which maybe we won't spoil either. This one's a lot easier since we added the probe, right?
I mean, it's basically one reason we added the probe is that so you could see.
Yeah.
Over here, you're like, I know I need to get to that ramp. How do I do it?
Yeah.
And then you can sort of I mean, I added 2 giant honking lights to say put the block here. So it's not like, I don't think it's like hugely spoilery, but the probe really helps orient. Because like some people put it here.
Some people don't see those 2 lights there, right? Like it just kind of looks like we threw in decorations. I mean, half the time we'd play the game with Steve, Steve would be like, "That's kind of mean," and then I'd be like, "Well, I put the little rocks there to show where the player should go." And he's like, "Yeah, well, you put rocks over there too, and it didn't mean anything."
Yeah, Jeff, your decoration philosophy was you're kind of mean with your decorations. I agree with Steve. I didn't decorate the entire left half of this level, so I can put those there. That's okay. We needed mean level development because
I think if people don't figure something out about this game the first time they play it, it's fine. That's my philosophy.
Yeah, they'll come back to it. And there's some gnarly ass puzzles and gnarly hidden shards that are really delightful.
I would definitely agree that the previous level was one of the harder ones, though. Every time I go back to it, I kind of forget.
That one shard, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna choose this moment to flip us to some nostalgia.
Okay, let's do it.
And it's because
you want to pause your game?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay, nice.
It's because as I was going through our old levels, I found the first version of this one.
Oh my god, this is amazing. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So this is not the Game Jam game because the Game Jam game didn't have pushing blocks, but this is exactly what the Game Jam looked like.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the same level, 90 degrees on. We have some very dramatic sort of like height-based elevation colors that Steve put in so that you could actually tell when things were on different levels, because otherwise it just totally was illegible. But yeah, I really like this as a comparison between the two just the two versions of the game.
This is fantastic, this juxtaposition right here. I mean, just you can see all the bones there, but then like there are enemies in the game, there's water, there's 3D decorations, there's shards, there's story logs. It's crazy, like how we kind of had the gameplay down at some point, right? And it just took a ton of polish. I
mean, you say that, but I feel like we changed the gameplay so much in the last month and a half. I came back from that camping festival I was at in early June, and we did our first play test, and our tester was like, that was really funny because they were just like, I hate the camera controls. I don't want to rotate the game because it makes me angry to press the button. I was like, okay. But they also weren't wrong.
Yeah. I think it frustrated different people to different degrees, but like it was definitely on midway through the spectrum of annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But cameras are always annoying, right? That's like probably the thing that annoys anybody who plays a game the most is just, does the camera work for you or not, right? I mean, the camera in Elden Ring was annoying to me, actually, because I just felt like it was tipped downwards too much. I don't know if anybody else felt that.
Or like when you're locked on and there was a big monster and you just like run in the wrong direction or whatever. Yeah, like cameras are hard.
Every dang FromSoft game, it's like lock onto this giant monster and then run to its feet, and your camera focus point is going to be 10 feet above your head, but you still got to swing down. I'm just like, stop. Don't do it to me again.
Yeah.
I love that game so much. No shade. No shade. Also, this gameplay is great in Window, which I really love.
The comparison is pretty cool to the Game Jam. I mean, I'll have to go back and play it at some point, but I mean, we'll see it today. I think it's interesting how much the game has changed and how it's almost a completely different game, but it's very clear that it's also kind of the same game, right? Like you can see the through line versus some jam-based games where you're like, oh, they're very, very different. You can kind of see the seed of the idea, but some of these one-for-one levels, you're like, oh, it plays a bit different because of the camera and the control changes, and it's visually completely different. But there's, if you play through that, you're like, yep, this level's the same game, right?
Wait, let me orient it the same way too. Really, here we go. Yeah. And I think, Jeff, you went in and recreated all these Game Jam levels in our new tooling setup, right? Just to like like
Yes.
we couldn't. We had to recreate this whole level from scratch, though it's admittedly small. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I was about to say, like what Steve was saying, like, is especially true because we just took the code base of the Game Jam game and just kept building on top of it. So like literally, if you just wind the time back, it'll become the Game Jam game, right?
that's true.
But we reinvented how the levels get designed like 5 times, and by the time we got to the modern version of the game, we couldn't use the old levels anymore. So we just had to go in and like block by block recreate them.
And thankfully, most of them weren't that complex, but some of them were. We recreated some big ones in there.
Yes, I recreated a bunch that we ended up cutting too, which is fine. Whatever, our tools are good. It was a good way to.
It was worthy. It was very worthy sacrifice. Yeah. Yeah. So should I keep playing or should I pivot something else? I just wanted to show off this comparison because it's
let's do this level because I don't think we didn't really talk about the pushing blocks. We sort of like the last level we were talking about how I'm mean about level design, but let's talk about pushing blocks.
You made some of the best puzzles in this game. I gotta deal with these little rabble rousers first.
Yeah.
This is one example where there's not enough enemies in the level to kill you with your default health, which I think is just it's a nice sort of like teaching moment.
Yeah.
We have really our only accessibility setting, but my favorite one is that you can set your health from 1 to infinite. I should probably put it on infinite for the stream, and you get that nice little infinity symbol up here, so nothing actually hurts you.
I hope that's discoverable to people. We don't tutorialize it, surely, but maybe I don't know. I think if people play the game and there's any kind of community around the game, people will just figure it out over time, right?
Yeah, we should devlog it. We should do something with it because it's just nice to have, and it's like if combat is what messes people up, I don't want them to die on the levels. I'd rather they just get to solve the puzzles and shrug off some shots. I think if I go back to this is the only block I added was this little line right here so that you could get to an island right here.
Right.
So funny. Oops. Oh, sorry. I shot and full screen at the same time. I hope the game came through on the stream okay.
I think the Game Jam version was a little harder than this one.
It was like harder, but maybe sort of less interesting at the same time.
I felt like it was just like the first teleport was not obvious, right? I think the first teleport was the one where you had to like push the block to make something you could teleport onto. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember. We'll play that game. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
We'll see if I how badly I die playing it.
Yeah.
All right. Oh yeah, we've got our craft blocks. I had a lot of fun just munching these up in Blender.
Yeah. What's the modifier for these?
Decimate? Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
Or you sculpt first and then you decimate the sculpted thing, right?
You remesh. So you take a cube in Blender and you tell it to remesh. So you add like 100 you split every face in like 100 squares, and then you take the sculpt tools and just randomly press buttons, and then you call decimate on it, and you get these nice sort of funky cubes.
So there is a talent, and Steve, maybe there's a technical word that you know about this since you're in the industry, where some people who do like random stuff, quote unquote, that like Dom was talking about, can make that result seem cool and look good. Whereas when I like randomly sculpt stuff in Blender, it looks like literally that description, right? It's just like, oh, it looks like somebody randomly just sculpted something in Blender. and it's like very obvious that it was haphazard. But I feel like Dom has the ability to just kind of like do the random thing and it come out convincing on like the first or second try, which is incredible.
I think he's probably over exaggerating the randomness. I'm sure there was an artistic eye to carving it up.
I think that's true. I don't know how Blender's sculpt tool works, so I'm picking random sculpt tools and just drawing until I get an effect I like.
Yeah.
I think a trained professional could maybe do a slightly better job. but it came out good. I'm invincible, so these bullets just bounce off of me. I like that we turned off the damage effect when you can't take damage. I think that's maybe unintentional. I think it's just the fact that we return early.
Yeah, but you're ruining your no-hit run. These still counts as hits.
Do they really? Oh, that's mean.
I mean, you don't have to do a no-hit run. Oh, are you gonna die? Is that what you're going
Yeah, I was
for?
gonna blow him up
Okay.
because he's got a fun little explosion.
Yeah, the other dumb blender trick was for the enemy explosions. I just used the fragment modifier and pulled those pieces out. But
Oh yeah,
Unity
I
doesn't
love
really
that you just-
support the
It's so
like
cool.
that in a very robust way. So it actually, it doesn't maintain volume when it does it, but you can't really process the reuse pieces. It's just picking random.
I confess to you that I have
Set of
no
three.
idea how that effect works. I'm gonna run and
What,
go
the-
look it up after this.
What, these?
The explosions, yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I get
that's
what Steve just said, but I don't know how it fits into Unity.
Steve, you can explain it.
Basically a mesh emitter, so you can say pick one of the sub meshes randomly. That has
Okay.
limitations on, I think, like sub mesh count and vert count and all that stuff. So you can't really just say randomly scatter the contents of the model. So
Yeah.
you end up with like the headpiece like multiple times sometimes and stuff. But
Okay, yeah.
when it's moving
right.
fast, you don't notice it. It just looks
You don't
like it
notice at all,
exploded
yeah.
into bits.
Yeah. But it very much has this kind of like inexplicable effect that it's like, yeah, I feel like those pieces came from the thing, right? Like,
Mhm.
yeah.
That's what I did with the those destructible walls too. As you destroy them, it's just emitting like tiny versions of these little rocks. It just grabs a bunch of them at very tiny scale and just throws some of them out of the mesh as you hit it.
Right.
I copied Steve's emitter and then just put my own meshes in there. I don't know if it's going to be visible, but I want my favorite blit effect is that when he gets hit, he has like a little exclamation point on screen.
Oh yeah, it's very difficult to see, just because he flashes red at the same time, but it's great.
I know. All right, I'll stop letting this turret pwn me get out of here. Also a great explosion.
Yeah. The turrets were very challenging to tune. I think some of our early playtesters had a really hard time fighting the turrets, but I think we kind of sussed it, right?
I think we did. I'm gonna restart the level just to fight turrets some more.
Yeah.
I think one of the things was like I gave it it has its little Metal Gear Solid I see you exclamation point, which really
Yep,
helps.
huge.
I realized maybe this will be update 1. It doesn't make a sound when an exclamation points, and I think it needs a little audio cue as well.
Yeah.
So I've got that filed away in the back of my mind, but yeah, they go from yellow to red. They have like that little aggro animation. Then they have the recharge. Their little like laser charges up in the middle.
Yeah.
Which actually like so that Steve made this lovely turret model, and the yellow line that's inside the prongs, like the gun part. I just animated the Z scale of that, and it looks fine, but you can kind of see that this mesh just like shrinks and pops back out. It looks kind of funny.
It doesn't look funny to me at all. It looks great.
It's very effective, but I
Yeah.
think I did it in a weird way.
Yeah. All right, no more Mr. Nice Guy. This is dumb when he's all business and stereo boy.
Yeah, I hate you. That turret, no, nothing, not getting me.
Yeah.
This is another one of our game genres. I don't know if I have.
A screenshot of this one.
No, what I do have is a screenshot of an earlier. I have an earlier version of it. where
Was
we
that
were trying to
multi-dom
figure-
in the upper right-hand corner?
Probably,
Oh, here
yeah.
we go. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like halfway through Game Jam version where we've got our old enemy models.
Yes.
Um,
A bunch of blobs.
yeah, our enemies. I mean, they were what is it? Dodecahedrons,
Icosahedron, I think. is what it
icosahedrons.
is.
They were icosahedrons.
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 CB4S.
and the turrets were triangles, and it's yeah, Steve, you really modeled the heck out of these things, so they look so good. And every time I see the little ones, I'm like, those are the enemies.
What's
Yeah,
funny
it's
though
fun.
is that like that screenshot in the lower left already strikes me as pretty modern. Like we had gone pretty far because like I don't know how long we spent trying to get the environment design right. And by the time we got to the state in the lower left, we had already come up with the variant system, right? So we already have like, you know, the variants are basically what these little sort of discolorations that form pads.
Yeah, it's nice.
We already had that sort of set in, which is really cool.
Mhm.
I'll tell you one thing that I really like about the older version of this level is the variation in the material. I think that got lost a little bit in the final version, but do you notice how we're using like two different skins for each
Yeah,
side?
I mean, there's other levels where we do that. I didn't think it worked, and instead,
that's fine.
you know, I sort of, it's the theme carried over just back in full screen, because I started mixing some of our like high tech stuff in here instead. I thought it looked a lot better.
Yeah.
Mixed in. I'm gonna go get this shard.
That pair of little lights right there is quite the tease. I always like I know this level very well, and I always want something to be there. You know?
Oh, that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of mean, isn't it? Doesn't always mean something.
I wouldn't call. I wouldn't use. I'm very reluctant to use the term mean when it comes to this game, but
one thing we added kind of late, like, extremely late in the game, is that you added pathfinding to these little guys.
yes.
And I love that they'll come at you and then they'll keep chasing for a minute and then turn around and walk back to where they were.
Yeah.
And I think it was it was totally another thing where we were like, oh, that's too hard. But
I think we were gonna get to it eventually, but yeah, we were just like, let's do other things.
I think the game was too hard without that though, because like you could bunch the enemies up in a way that you had
Yes.
to take damage to beat it. So I thought that was a really
The little spinny circular guys that just harm you on contact. We call them swarmers, and they were definitively bad before we added Pathfinder to them. They were just like not fun at all. Yeah.
I was gonna bring up the old destructible blocks. Here's the original effect.
Oh, so cool. Yeah.
It was okay.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about texturing for that that I didn't know before.
I love this old blocky aesthetic.
It was good, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird that they explode into extremely unrelated cubes, but it was good. I like the glowy bits. The glowy cracks are good.
The current explosion for the enemies is a model swap for those cubes, really. Like I stole your.
Oh, right, because you just put in different. You put in the glowy and the blue bits for that instead. That's really funny.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, they're good particle emitters. It's just the wrong effect. Let's see, where am I? Where am I? No. Can't catch me. Yeah, we don't really teach people how to teleport to safety, but like
I think people figure it out. I've watched a lot of people play, and they'll like some people are very careful when they play this game, right? And they'll just like teleport away, shoot once, and then teleport away. You know, they're very methodical.
Yeah,
We're watching.
I like that.
Probably
Oh,
one of
go
the
ahead.
most skilled players of all time in Stereo Boy play right now, so it looks quite effortless.
I think that is. I mean, you can't beat making it, right? I like these little invincible guys. I think people figure it out by the end.
Yeah.
It's got a nice effect when it hits.
Took me a surprisingly long time to find a kind of like sound effect that communicated, oh, you hit something that you can't damage.
A plunk, yeah.
A plunk.
A good
clink.
plunk.
Yeah.
By the way, it's been a minute, so I'm just going to remind people that if you would like to play Stereo Boy, there's a link in the bottom right of the stream, stereoboygame.com/launch. And we'll send you a code later, as long as we have codes to send. We've got 100, so I think your chances are good if you send it. And we won't spam you. We already had that discussion, but we are not spammers. We're good people.
Yeah.
I like this. I like our drop down level. I think this is tutorial, but you made it look really nice and visible with the iceberg. I'm gonna get the secret shard here.
Yeah.
Only because we fought so long to make it utterly visible at all to people.
Yeah.
It used to be hidden behind like the shard. The shard is right here. It used to be hidden behind like 3 more walls.
It wasn't the shard that was hidden, it was the exit that was hidden, to the point that
Yeah,
people were like quitting the level and restarting. And that was
Yeah,
bad.
someone. Yeah, exactly. Oh, he just says, "I'm planning to route the speedrun as soon as I get the game." Yeah, please.
Yeah.
We
Nice.
didn't put a speedrunning trophy in there, but please share your record. I think
We are measuring how long it takes you to finish levels, so we could add an achievement for speedrun. We just don't have data, right? We don't know how long it's supposed to take to finish some of these levels.
Yeah, exactly. But if you get to the end screen, we tell you how long you played, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah, so
do
there's-
teleport count, which I think could be another interesting run.
Yeah. Teleport count is in there. The number of times you
Yeah.
push the block is in there.
Number of hits you take is
Yes.
one of them. Yeah, you put some really good stat tracking in this sucker. It's delightful.
Not as much as I would like. What I really wanted to do. Let's not spoil the shard.
You got it.
What I really wanted to do is like keep track of every single playthrough, and that way you basically have all the stats. Because I have to aggregate them right now, right? I like they're just like
yeah.
sums of things, and you lose a little bit of fidelity there. But yeah,
And
this is one of our another one of our really sexy set piece levels.
Yeah, I built this. Okay, here we go. So this is one that I have a lot of footage of, because this was actually when we decided to make this a real game. We were like, make some vertical slices. Like we're gonna make, what do we think a good level of this game could be?
Oh,
And
that's
came
right.
up-
This was one of the vertical slice levels.
Yeah, and I've actually got this one in like floaty camera mode, which this is just a whole different game that looks really cool. Like we could have like said this is our aesthetic and shipped this. I like the diorama style we put together, but I also like just the funny.
Yeah,
like,
this is totally
cross
Echochrome
version.
style, right? And I think, Dom, you were the one that discovered a few games that are essentially just this, right? I mean, they don't have the teleport mechanic or anything like that, but they basically ship this kind of like solid color, extremely low poly kind of thing, right?
And it's a good aesthetic.
Yeah.
And this also has our old camera stop. So this is how
with
the camera
with
used to
with the
work.
ambient occlusion, and you do some light mapping on top of that if you can get it to work, like it just looks
Exactly.
cool, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so previously, this is actually this is the
the
weird thing
8-stop camera.
It's the only instance of the camera that has 8 stops, because I was like, this level I think was just, it maybe benefited from being on 90-degree angles for some of these spots.
Yeah.
So I was like, what if you could hit all the angles?
Well, part of our like 7 stages of accepting the orbit camera, like level 5 was us saying,
Was this?
well, sometimes you want to be on corners, sometimes you want to be on edges. So why don't we just do both? You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure it was Steve that was like, guys, this is a bit much.
Yeah, that sounds right. Frequently the voice of reason.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pop into my raw photo album because I think I have a couple more of this level in particular.
Oh man, what a great screenshot that gallery is just by itself, you know?
I know, right? Yeah, Stereo Boy the photo album is a really good photo album. Big fan.
I'm also kind of thinking about like directions that the game could have gone, right? Like it's kind of like you sort of see another game that was there. Oh, it's got the astronaut model too.
Yeah, our player was an astronaut for a minute, and yeah, this is I think a playthrough of the entire level. Oh, it's because I was trying to convince you that we should do a follow cam for the player through the level. I was wrong, but it was fun to try.
There's probably a version of the game that can be follow cam. In the chat, Shiki says, "Hi, Jeff, great work. Do you have something like a moving stage to add some time pressure to the player? I feel like the teleport is a bit static, and I would love to see something more dynamic." We did not do anything moving per se. The game does get a lot more complicated in terms of what it asks you to do. We're basically at the end of the first of 4 areas, and this is really just trying to teach you what the game is about and getting you a feel for the controls. But moving platforms,
They're so hard.
I think might be my
They scared
number
us.
one most scary thing in game development. I don't know, Steve. How do you feel about moving platforms?
I mean, they're definitely not easy to do.
Yeah.
I remember going through that on a few games, just very order of movement and stuff. But I mean, they'd
Yeah.
definitely be cool. It'd
Yeah.
definitely be cool.
We don't have a lot of timing-based puzzles in this game, right? I think almost entirely this game is bereft of timing, besides maybe dodging something with a teleport, right?
I think that's right. Yeah. Another early version of this sucker.
But yeah, so I guess to answer Shiki's question, I guess the answer is like, no, we don't have anything dynamic almost at all, except the combat. The combat's really the only dynamic element that we've got, I think. I guess I guess the patrollers, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's moving enemies, there's indestructible moving enemies, and I think just some of the puzzles too, like when we introduce blocks that teleport with you, that have sort of like existence in both worlds. It's a very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. It creates some thinking with portals moments that are really nice.
Yeah, but no moving terrain, basically. No,
That's
nothing you
correct,
can
yeah.
stand on that moves.
Next game. I mean, we got to start on game 2 tomorrow, so
We do. Yeah.
everything's a
game
moving platform in that one.
two. Right.
Yeah, I like. Let's see. I can just flip between these.
Dom, were
this
you
is like
saying
a-
this morning that you're like, okay, the game's launched. I don't really know what to do with myself right now. I had the same
Abs-
feeling, actually.
That is correct. Yeah, I sat on the couch and read Twitter this afternoon because I was like, I don't have a backlog. I'm not like feeling like starting something. I kind of just had like a nice like.
Confess I
game
watched a
hangover.
movie.
Oh fuck yeah! Yeah, it's great. I love it. You deserve a movie. We've been
Yeah.
working a lot.
I watched everything, everywhere, all at once.
Did you see that for the first time?
It's for the first time. Yeah.
Okay. I want to talk to you about that, not on a live stream where I might spoil it for someone, because
Yeah.
that movie was like profoundly good.
Yeah.
Everyone should
Okay,
go.
we'll talk
watch
about it. We'll
everything-
talk about it
everything
after this.
everywhere
Yeah, we don't
all
want to
at
spoil
once.
anything. I think
watch it.
went. I think Steve got up to get dinner, so he's very impressively stoic right now on the stream. Like,
Oh, is that-
he's
okay,
keeping
yeah.
a straight face.
Beautiful. Yeah, I like this variation between levels. This is before we figured out decoration. The only decoration we had was like mold.
We had the cheese shader.
Oh no, this is like a mold decal.
Oh, but was it not using cheese shader on the actual decoration?
Yeah, I've got your blue cheese shader as
Yeah.
part of the feilure. Ada says I want to see that so bad, everything everywhere.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Next time we hang out, we can watch it.
Yeah.
I'd watch it again. But yeah, this is like we added plants. We've got some rocks. This is an old skin for our blocks that was we had the notion that we wanted like top, walking surface and like structure. So we have like the caps on these cubes, and we definitely sort of like retained some of that knowledge, but it came across very differently in the end.
There's a certain
it-
charm, like you were saying before about the kind of gray box version of the game, the kind of like ceramic, especially on the right side of the old screenshot. Like
Absolutely.
there's a certain kind of like, there's a certain pleasingness to that kind of ceramic look, right? It almost
Mhm.
feels Lego-y.
Well, I think we had the shadows turned really dark at that point.
Yeah.
Which like unfortunately has the effect of like making some things harder to see in terms of
Yeah.
gameplay. So we certainly like we toned it back and made it look more reasonable. One of my favorite effects is that sort of when you teleport, the lights on one side or the other are moving into place. So the shadows like actually have like a jump that goes with them. You can see the shadow sort of move as if the sun is setting very quickly, which I really love.
Yeah. It might not come across on the stream, but you can definitely see basically you can feel the sun moving across
Yeah,
the
it's,
sky.
you know what? If you can't see it on stream, you should give us your email so we can send you a code.
Yes.
stereoboygame.com/launch. We won't
Right
spam
there on
you,
the
but
bottom
we'll
right.
We'll give you a free video game. and probably never contact you again unless you check the box that says "Please spam me." You added the spam me box, right?
It's the if we weren't able to give you a free key because we ran out for some reason, we'll email you when there's a discount, or we'll email you if
That's even
we
better.
update the game and it's a big deal, or we'll email you when we start selling NFTs.
No NFTs. This is not an NFT game.
No
Uh,
NFTs.
I like-
Okay.
I
I
like
was
the
joking about the
song-
NFTs. Dom and I have a sorted crypto past that we shall not talk about on the stream. You can watch our whole game development stream on our YouTube channel for all of our crypto takes, but we won't.
We've got some
No
takes. I mean,
NFTs from here on out.
Yep, we made some cryptocurrencies happen. I think we never took anyone's money and only tried to make things that were useful, and I appreciate that.
Didn't
I think
100%
that's about-
succeed.
No, God no, we didn't make anything.
Kind of more
That's the
100%
problem.
failed, but you know what?
Yeah, absolutely failed.
Yeah.
Because it didn't make any money, which is, I guess, what people want out of it.
That's the best kind of crypto. Doesn't affect anybody. Doesn't affect anybody's money.
Yeah, we burned the 0 acres of rainforest with our crypto, and it didn't hurt anyone, and that's
True.
pretty good. Yeah, but no, we won't make NFTs. As soon as the game went live on Steam, we got an email that was like, "Hey, do you want to like add some Web3 to your game?" And I was like, "No, it's a puzzle game. I don't know how."
I like how casual they are about it too. It's just like, yeah, add some Web3. It's just like, put some pickles on your burger, you know? Like,
And it's like, yeah, it was a very confusing request. This entire level I made as an exercise in like, I was like, you need to walk across the doors that you open
yeah,
to like unlock the level, and it makes you do it 5 times, which honestly is maybe 1 time too many, but I didn't change it.
yeah. There's a couple of those moments in the game where it's just like, well, I have to like completely restructure the level to avoid one of these repetitions. So I'm not going to do it. What's a little bit maybe hard to explain and like doesn't really come across while you're playing the game is like how sensitive these levels are to any kind of change. Being able to
It's
teleport
hard.
all over the place and having like a very strict grid structure actually means that you can break your levels so easily by saying, it'd be really good if I had an extra path from here to there. But then you realize, oh, this lets the player skip this entire part of the level that I wanted to drag them through. So that's kind of like what I think we spent most of the time during level design thinking about. Was not, I mean, like you could kind of crank out the central idea of the level pretty quickly, but then it's just kind of like tuning it in a way that doesn't break the original idea. That was pretty challenging, I thought.
Yeah, it really was. And yeah, I just wanted to have this sort of triumphant like, I got to all the switches. This whole level is like actually not complicated. It's more of just a walking maze that you have to watch where you're going. But I really
Yeah.
just like the idea of walking up this giant ramp. Dean Putney says, "I'm looking forward to being a good robot." Thank you, Dean.
Yes.
We've missed streaming our weird game development for you. So I really hope you get to enjoy this. Please fill out the form in the bottom right, and we'll send you a code. You've been there since the beginning, encouraging us to make good doggos. So
Yeah.
since you're on the stream, I figure I've got some like versions of Blit through the years.
Yes.
I think this is one of our first robots.
We start off with Sphere, right? The sort of like baby blue Kurt Cobain Jaguar guitar color, right? Seafoam green. Was that what you would say?
Yeah.
Um,
I didn't mean to go to the game. I meant to do this. Yeah. This little guy. This is our original
and
player.
then we went from that to astronaut guy.
Astronaut guy. I just had astronaut and I've lost it.
That's okay. Astronaut guy was short-lived.
Very, very short-lived, and then it became Blit. This is actually the first Blit.
Yeah.
With his little idle animation, and the like eye that I clearly painted with a paintbrush in Blender before I like made a real texture for it. And yeah, little idle animation.
Yeah.
This is based on a Mac Plus and some robots I saw on ArtStation that I liked. Really, really good inspiration there. Then we realized that since it was at the time a twin stick shooter, you could walk and aim in different directions. So we had to give him a articulated torso that aimed in two directions.
Or
Which-
could rotate 360 degrees, basically, right?
Right, yeah, the legs can go this way and the body can go
So
this
Blit
way.
was a tank. That's relevant to Dean, right? Because Dean was
I'm
like,
sorry.
you know,
Yeah.
we're glad you're getting away from tanks. Well, we had tanks for a while. Tanks of a different form.
But look, it's a cute tank.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
It's a good,
Kind of
it's a good
matches.
boy.
Yeah.
It's a good boy. Yeah, this is Blitz legs forward and face to the side, which honestly just like it looked really weird.
Yeah, it looked weird.
It looked weird in game.
Is there chicken Blit in this at all?
Yeah, there's chicken Blit. I was gonna go with broken Blit for a second.
Okay.
I keep clicking backwards. I don't know why I have the screenshot. I clearly just messed up the model one day. But it's a good one. Yeah, chicken
Yeah.
Blit is probably in my funny. Yeah, here you go. You gave him
Yes.
chicken legs for a minute. They just didn't. It's really hard to make a walk cycle. It's hard to animate legs.
I think more precisely, we are not good at animating in
I just
general,
learned how to
but
do
walk
Blender, like,
cycles
this year, yeah.
specifically are difficult. Yeah. And it was.
Precisely.
I think actually the walk cycle thing ended up being like surprisingly complicated, right? Because we talked about it and like, well, we kind of want him to be able to walk backwards and also sidestep. And it like quickly becomes like you have to animate like 10 different things that have to all blend together and
Yeah, you
know
had-
at any given moment which of those 10 things you want to be blending, you know?
Yeah, you know what? For the next game, I think we're gonna learn about animation blending, but didn't happen on this one.
Yeah.
And then yeah, finally we decided Blit didn't need legs, and this is an intermediate version, which was very bad. You talked about I think you looked at this and you were just like, that's not it. And I was like, oh good.
I felt I was probably constructive about the way that I arrived at that particular conclusion.
Oh, you absolutely were. But this was clearly not it. I had this vision that like the bottom half of him would like flare in different directions as he moved.
Yes.
Which I thought would be a cool effect, but I think would just have been unreal.
Very
Also,
Outer Wilds, right? Or
yeah, but he has a giant gun. It's no good. No.
or
no
kind
good.
of like I guess the Star Wars is really big into like the floating spherical things that have little jets, thruster jets.
Maybe I was watching The Mandalorian at the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we ended up on this guy, which is definitely the best split. Fun little jet, cute little radar dish that animates as he floats around. I've given him some like bling on the head. Just a good robot that we had immortalized in this beautiful artwork.
Yeah. Adriana from Portugal. It's funny, like I think there's no canonical. Oh yeah, this is great. This is when we were testing out decal shaders, right?
Yep, it's chicken walking and broken shaders.
These aren't the chicken legs, right? These are the stubby legs.
Oh, you're right, and they're not
Yeah.
animated at all. Good point.
I felt like we had this split for a good long time. But what I was gonna say is like, there's no canonical. I don't know how long Blitz's lower thruster is supposed to be. It depends on which angle you're looking at him from, right? Like in the game, his lower thruster is super long. Like you can't really even tell from this perspective. But if you're imagine rotating him, so you're looking at him, you know, in elevation view, basically, like his thing is like very, very long.
This is a hard level to see it on too, because it's one of our
Yeah.
it's one of our more zoomed out levels. I'll just finish this area.
Yeah. But if you're gonna show Blit from like a lower angle, you kind of want that thing to be a little short, right? And that's what Adriano did with the key art.
Oh yeah, he did a good job. He
Yeah,
did a very
he
good
was
job.
great.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, I mean, it's a good boy. There's a lot of subtle effects in this too. I like that when you can teleport, his lights turn on and they turn off when you can't.
Oh, don't spoil it.
We're
spoiling a lot of the game already. It's true. We're
We're
spoiling a lot of the game, but that's one of
mean-
the Easter eggs that I think people can beat the game and not realize that. Right?
I think that's right. I mean, there's a lot of levels in this world. There's 2 more worlds.
Yeah.
Areas 3 and 4, which have some real good levels in them. Big fan.
Yeah, some big brain teasers for the shards in particular.
Yeah, I don't think I'm showing off even the good stuff. Like World 1 is really just about sort of. I don't know. I think we figured out that it just took people a while to orient into like this stereo screen view is weird. It's
Yeah.
weird that your eye has to go from here to here. So I think we ease you in, and maybe we ease you in a little too slowly, but I think by the end, like stuff actually is pretty interesting, and the puzzles.
It really
are-
just kind of depends. It's hard, like, I guess
Yeah.
that's the whole know your audience thing in any kind of creative pursuit, right? But like, there was that fellow on Reddit today who was nice enough to leave feedback for us, but they were like, like I felt like it took too long to ramp up,
Mhm.
and that person's probably really good at video games, right?
Sure.
And then we've had other
That's-
playtesters that were like, I can't get through Neutronium Terrace, right? Which is the big like 5-wall
The
maze.
big ramp one, yeah. It's true. It's a tough one. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to our analytics coming in so we can see how far people get in the game. Where folks are getting stuck. I think there will be some very good lessons learned.
Yeah.
From all of that. It's so fun though. I know.
Area 2
All
is
the-
where the game starts to get a little bit kooky, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, what I love these blocks that teleport with you. They have this sort of like, I don't know, they have like this energy charge that goes with them. They shoot some particles after they teleport. There's a lot of good effects going on here.
Right.
And you end up having.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. You first.
No, I was gonna change the subject, so you keep it going.
Oh, I was gonna say I like when the game starts having you like make bridges that you have to stand on one of these and push it somewhere and teleport and then like take it with you somehow. There's just a lot of interesting stuff that it does.
The way I remember this, and I could be misremembering, who the hell knows? I don't remember anything about the last 6 months. It's just a huge, it was long and yet a blur, if you know what I mean.
Uh-huh.
But I
do.
feel like the advent of these blocks was the thing that convinced me that this was actually a game, right? We made the Game Jam game. It was fun. It was a twin stick shooter. But I think me, out of the three of us, was like the least convinced there was actually a game here. You know what I mean? Even though like I was like, we should make this a game.
That was
but-
it was good skepticism because we had to answer the hard question of why would anyone even think about wanting to play this?
But so like we had teleports, and okay, so the teleport gives you like fun mazes to go through. That's like 10 minutes of your life, and then you kind of figure it out, right? But these blocks that teleport with you, and especially these that you can kind of move around as well, made this into a game that actually has a bunch of the possibility space starts to open up, of like what can actually happen in the game.
Yeah, it's like the block's over here, but you have to teleport, pull it across this thing that has a gap in both worlds, and then start moving it around. And I think it's just good stuff. There's interesting puzzles. I think we had a design ethos of like chill. I skipped the shards in this level. You don't get to see it. You find it for yourself, players. I think we were committed to chill, cozy. There's shooting, but we didn't make an action game, and I think we stuck to our guns about not trying to get every genre in there. We did good. There's a lot of
We did
restraint
stick
in
to
what
our
we
guns about
chose.
keeping the guns, because there was I think there was some existential hemming and hawing over whether or not we should have combat at all, right?
Oh, there was.
Yeah.
I like the current version of combat where you can't move. You have to be,
It
you have to
turned.
be a little
I'm
vulnerable.
pretty happy with it. I think.
Yeah, it's a game
I
about
don't even remember
vulnerability.
how recently the decision was like locked in. I feel like that you guys are still going back and forth on that. Maybe
We were.
a month ago, month and a half.
Yeah, I think that's right. I see. I can see this on the stream. There we go.
Yeah,
Um,
I think
I also-
I think what it was. I think Steve actually was the one that like gave us peace, because I think it was kind of like there's always going to be the minimalist voice that says, okay, anything that doesn't add to the core mechanic of your game or build on top of it is like something that you could take out, and I was like, oh, it's like jazz, it's like jazz is about the notes that you don't play. But then Steve was like, well, jazz is also about kind of just doing freaky shit, you know what I mean? So why not just have some freaky shit, It's okay.
Yeah, it's about you got to have a little salt in your meal.
Yeah, add some salt to your watermelon. Pro tip.
That is delicious. I hate watermelon, but salted watermelon is pretty
You
good.
hate watermelon? Hang on.
It's
We're gonna
wet
spend the
sand.
next 40 minutes
It's-
talking about this.
It's
What?
wet sand.
No. See, what's your take on watermelon?
Seedless isn't very good, but when it has seeds, it's way more tasty.
Huh.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting.
You
Do you
know, I'm not
just
sure I've
swallow
had a
seeds or do you spit them out?
I mean, I spit them out, but
Okay.
I never really noticed. My mom always swore by that. She's like, once they started having seedless, they were gross, and then you kind of frequently compare, and you're like, oh yeah, they're like dry and flavorless, and there's no seeds.
Mm.
Okay. But I will do a seedless, non-seedless comparison someday, and I'll report back because maybe I've just been fed a lot of seedless watermelons. I think half of the joy is getting the seeds in your mouth and spitting them out like a cartoon machine gun. I assume that's why people like it. And that seems
That
great.
must come with a lot of water with that, right? I don't think I've ever done that.
Maybe I'm just bad at watermelons. I haven't played Game Jam.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. Let's
Yeah.
let's switch over.
So I've played levels. I played up to level 2, 3.
Yes. The
There's
game is just
there's a
starting to
lot-
get off the hook, I think.
Yeah, I think I mean there's some a bunch of tutorials in here, but I have played maybe the first third of the game for you.
Yeah.
I hope y'all enjoy playing the second 2/3.
And if you want the game for free, go to the link in the lower right-hand corner, stereoboygame.com/launch. Fill out the form, we'll send you the game. As long as we've got keys.
as long as we got keys. Page looks like this. There's no Twitch option here. You probably heard about it somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'm glad you added this email box. Otherwise, we will not send you stuff. We're very good humans who respect your email.
I'm curious to know, because like generationally, we don't use Facebook, but I'm curious to know how powerful Facebook is as an advertising source, right? I felt like we got a lot of wish lists that came from, I think, Dom posting it to his Facebook feed. So maybe,
or my Twitter feed. We'll never know.
yeah.
Oh,
No, we do know. We have Google Analytics on the Steam page. We can actually see the refers.
Oh, well, great. We might know.
We are watching you.
Heck yeah. No, we're not doing that. We're good. We're good. Anyway, yeah. I hate that it only shows the screenshots at this size.
That is funny, isn't it?
When you got when itch has a game player, it preferences the game player for some reason. I mean,
Did you
maybe
do the
for
vanity
obvious reasons.
rotations here?
Yeah, I took screenshots halfway through the level rotating because it looked better. I was doing it even in the game jam. I was like, it should be 45
Yes.
degrees. Yeah, sorry, not sorry. It was the right choice.
So folks, you can go to our itch.io page. I don't think we link to it anywhere, but just Main Ghost Games, search for it on itch.io and play the game called, I pronounce it Replace.
I do as well. It's replace, not replace, because we wrote it that way, and that's how it comes out in my head too. If you end up on
I
a
don't know. If
website-
you were pronouncing it Replace, shouldn't it be capital R, capital E, lowercase PLACE?
but you see the pink is for emphasis. No, you're right, probably. But this logo looks better. I was
Yeah.
actually gonna say, if you end up on our Twitter and go to our website, we have links to our previous two
Oh
games,
yeah.
Blockchain.
We could
and
just end the
Saber.
stream in a blockchain competition. We could just play survival mode.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That would be. I haven't played this game in a long time. Our first game jam game that we put out publicly together that wasn't a like our dev stream was this game Blockchain that is only about blocking enemy attacks. You can't attack back, you can only parry. We thought that parrying was the worst mechanic in video games, so we tried to make a game about how silly it was. This also was very fun.
I loved working on it. I actually still find myself here every 4 weeks or so.
Do you really? Oh,
And
love that.
I've never gotten to my original record on survival mode. I think I got to 140 on survival mode.
It's hard. It's hard. We also someone like went and redrew a bunch of like Castlevania and Street Fighter sprites all in the same style. It's wonderful. They like put them out there as like sort of like fair use, open source. I made a bunch of custom fighting game sprites, so have fun. and I super appreciate them because these characters were so fun.
They're dope.
Um,
Yeah.
They're quite dope, and they did a lot of variations. I think we linked to it in here. But I was gonna say, if you get to one of our Game Jam games, I think you can get to our Jeff and Dominic's games page, and you can get to main Garage games. So we should link to our itch from our main website. But there's a circuitous path to it.
We may
let me-
eventually sell Stereo Boy on itch.
We're gonna do that.
We're
Yeah,
gonna do it. Yeah.
we're gonna do that. for
DRM
sure.
free. There's some technical things that we would need to figure out, but oh yeah, this soundtrack is pumping.
Jeff, you might have to mix me down for this. I remember this game being quite loud.
I will. I don't have the ability to do that, but just to warn everybody.
You don't? No, I was gonna say like you can't mix me down in oh, because it's all Zoom audio. Can I turn myself down? You know what? I'm gonna stop sharing audio. Well,
No, it's fine.
okay.
This soundtrack is so aggressive. It's amazing. I think it kind of fits. I think it kind of fits the aesthetic.
This was our this is our game jam game.
I was no slouch in choosing the music. Okay, I went through a lot of tracks to find this one.
I like that the music is doesn't cut when you go through edges too. It's just like a continuous. It's very nice.
Yeah.
So this is a proper twin stick. Left stick moves. Right stick aims your circle rectangle. Right trigger just fires off way too many bullets. With some effects I had a great time making. And then yeah, circle is teleport. Which we put circle there, but I think we forgot that Xbox was a controller when we wrote that. We didn't know it was fine. Yeah, the rotation is just you get 90 degrees or nothing. Oh, what a silly game. I love it.
This game was good enough that we were like, we should try to make this real, right?
I mean, people, when we handed this to someone, so this was a game jam. This was a 48-hour game jam, and we did this from like Friday evening to Sunday evening. Me, you, and Steve, and it was everybody who played it had fun with it. It was good.
Yeah.
It's far too easy, is what it is.
My cousins, or sorry, my nephews, they were fighting for the controller to play this game. But then again, they were young. They were like 8 years old or 9 years old, so.
It sounds like they had taste.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I'm just
yes.
saying.
We had all. I mean, a lot of these parts are here. You got the teleport. The sound effect is exactly the same, I believe. We got the keys and doors.
That's right. I'm not doing that mechanic.
I don't know if don't even worry about explaining. I wonder if I do kind of wonder if any of our playtesters are watching this, because like one of the common playtester requests was like, I don't want to have to hit a button to pick stuff up, and we like deliberately like add that in there because in this version of the game you just walk right over the key and you pick it up. And this level exists in Stereo Boy.
Right. This is secret. Yeah.
Secret tunnels.
Right.
Yeah.
Secret tunnels.
These said secret tunnels right there on the left side of the screen.
What? Wait. Said secret tunnels on the left side of the screen?
Also on the right side.
Oh, sorry. This one. This is the secret tunnel. Because you can't see it from most rotations. The secret tunnel became a lot less secret when we gave you 45 degrees.
Yeah.
Which is totally fine. Let's just see if I could find. Where did that one go? Yeah, because we had the full-size version of this up. Oh, I made my window too small. I'm having trouble finding the things.
It's okay.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like. Oops. You can't resize this. We don't have all the fancy bells and whistles, but it's like it's the same sort of quadrant structure, and you walk over this path becomes this path, and you teleport to the exit over here. So we were, you know, we upgraded this level from the Game Jam version in a fun way. It was nice to see a couple survive. I believe this is one of Steve's levels.
It is. Yes.
Yeah.
And the Game Jam version has a massive sequence break. There's
Oh yeah, right. Because you can just skip right here, can't you?
I thought that was intentional. That's how I always played the game. And when Dom remade Secret Tunnels for Stereo Boy, I was like, "Hey, where's that thing?"
I mean, with the shards, having it secret would have been fine, but yeah, it wasn't intentional. You didn't have all the tools for knowing if you could teleport somewhere or not, so I just like misaligned the wall.
Right.
Yeah, it's really fun. This is another level that made it into the game, and it looks a lot different.
Multi-dom.
Yeah, this was called Multi-Dom because it has multiple rooms and Dom made it, aka me.
Well, it was
we
called
didn't-
multi-room, and then
Yeah,
we
it
actually
was
made a
called- it was
cool
called
mechanic
Multi-Dom the
called
whole time,
multi-room.
wasn't it?
What's that?
I thought it was called Multi-Dom when I made it.
No, it was multi-room, and I renamed it to
Oh.
multi-dom when we added the
You're right.
multi-room feature. Right.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah, this got a nice glow up. Let's see if I can. Yeah. Same level. You sort of start off in a central thing, fight some turrets over here. This helps that the enemies are the same shape. Yeah, it's fun. And it's even more glowed up in the final version. It's really, really good. Yeah, here's the final multi-dom. Thing of beauty.
Very creepy.
I like the starry sky. Oh, this is when I had. There's a little block floating there. Oopsie. I'm pretty sure that.
Is that still there?
No, it shouldn't.
Okay.
be. Don't tell me if it is. Just delete it and let's ship a new build. I don't think it is. That would be very silly. Ah!
This game has such a different dynamic, doesn't it?
It's fast and shooty. The enemies can see me up here.
They're so creepy. They're unrelenting.
It really weirds me out how fast you can shoot in this thing.
Well, there's no auto aim, right? We had to add auto aim, at least for the gamepad on Stereo Boy, but it's really hard to shoot things in a twin stick game. So you have to shoot fast.
It turns out, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like I can only rotate in one direction because my controller's broken.
Oh no.
Stuff like this ramp is what it was really hard to read this in in 90-degree angles. And like you can rotate and see it, but it was always unfortunate that like one viewing or two viewings of the game really made it look like nothing was there. So
Yeah.
I'm very happy with the changes we made. How do we beat this level?
No, it's great. This was actually, I think, like low key. One of the reasons why I explicitly brought this in, I think this was one of the first levels I converted into the new stuff, was that it felt like a real adventure getting through it. You know what I mean? You don't know you really have to wander around and explore it to figure out how to get your way through.
Yeah, I think it kept that experience for players. Though I'm not sure I've ever watched a playtester play this one.
We watched a lot.
I watched. Yeah, well, it's because most playtesters we ran out of time at level 2. Oh, hey, did you see that? I shot through the enemy.
Oh yeah, that was a major problem. It continued. It might still be, but yeah, I know the exact bug. I can see the code right now of why that was the case.
Oh no, what a pity.
Yeah, it was like that for a long time. You can shoot through walls actually. If you just like spray a wall, you can shoot through it.
Oh, that's. I remember it being hard but not impossible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is another one where there's a ramp that is very hard to see. Oh, these levels are so silly.
Do you like swarmers?
I mean, I do like our swarmers. They're really hard to avoid in this game. Because they move
Yes.
so fast. and
There's
they're
no
shooting
startle.
so-
The startle animation was key to making combat work in Stereo Boy.
Yeah. Yeah, really true. We should do another game jam. That's what the next game is.
Is that the next thing is a game jam?
Should do a jam, yeah.
Ah.
We'll do a mini jam.
I feel like we do a good job on our game jams, relatively speaking, and yet the whole, like the first 12 hours of like, are we gonna actually, is this idea even gonna work? It's
like
a very
emotionally
it's
devastating.
It's emotionally devastating. Yes, it's an existential pain for me.
All right, I played enough of Replays. It's very loud in my ears.
It's very loud in our ears. Yes, but still a good game. You guys should play it. It's a stereo. It's not quite Stereo Boy, but it'll give you a nice perspective. But if you want to play Stereo Boy, go to stereoboygame.com/launch. Fill out the form. We'll send you a free copy of the game while supplies last.
While supplies last, but we have a lot of supplies. Yeah, I love that the achievement page finally showed up.
Yes.
Good. I made all of these achievements out of Beach House. It was delightful.
My greatest achievement in this game was naming the achievements, I think.
Yeah, you did a good job.
And I don't know if anybody will ever notice. Like,
We'll see. We'll see.
but that's the thing I'm the most proud of.
Can I see the hidden ones? I can't even see it. There's good hidden ones. Yeah.
I can see the
I think-
hidden ones weirdly. I wonder why.
Did you get them?
I don't think I did. Not on my
Oh.
Steam build. Or the Steam version of the game.
It is a mystery. Maybe I have achievement hiding
What does it
turned on
say?
Steam.
Details for each achievement will be rewarded once unlocked.
Don't know.
Because
I'm not very
I
good.
was able to see the stats of this, and there was at least
Oh.
one of our playtesters at 100% of this.
View global achievement stats.
Ah, yes, that's why I can see them. Yes, and I think
Mhm.
it might have been Steve's friend who played the game, who is an excellent playtester. Maybe our best.
Mhm. This is my favorite. This is my favorite achievement name.
Yeah.
It makes me really
Pretty
happy
deep,
to
pretty
do
deep
that.
cut. Definitely dates us, but you know what?
I mean, I just think making it's Paul Simon song about a quantum leap reference, and frankly, it's perfect. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. No
It's the
notes,
pinnacle of
A+.
my video game career, and it's all downhill from here. I accept
I was
that.
gonna-
I accept that eyes wide open.
Oh, you don't even know what we're making next. We'll see.
Franco 593 says, "Want to become famous? Buy followers, primes, and viewers on viewers.shop."
Hey Franco, go away. Do you have
I mean,
check bang
Franco's just
powers?
hustling, right? Franco, they're just trying to make it work, right?
I don't think they're actually here. I think they're just a robot drive-by.
Okay.
If you're here, I'm sorry I was so rude to you. We're not.
We
gonna
are
hire
not
followers.
necessarily anti-robot here at Mangosh Games, but it depends. The answer is always, it depends.
I'm just gonna make a level.
Okay,
Or at
yeah,
least,
let's do
Or
it.
at least play with our tools, because why not?
Yeah. So we made the game in Unity, which is what everybody uses to make their games. We like to complain about Unity, but I think the final conclusion is that it allowed us to make a game in 6 months that we think is pretty good. So
And that is
how bad could it be?
remarkably stable. Like, it doesn't crash. I love it. It works. It's great.
Dov is potentially being sarcastic about that, but
Oh no, the actual game is very stable.
the
Unity
game
editor
itself
cra-
is stable. You're right.
Yeah,
The editor,
the game is like kind of rock solid. The editor crashes all the time, but like the bugs we're shipping are very tiny.
yes.
I'm quite pleased.
We have a thing that will tell us in Slack when somebody's game crashes. And when we opened up the game for like 30 or so people to play test, that thing didn't go off as much as I thought it would go off, right?
Nope. We made an entire game on 2 MacBook Airs and shipped it to Windows, and it works. So like, good job, Unity.
Yeah.
I'm really pleased.
Yeah.
I didn't have to do any like weird Windows shit. I didn't have to install DLL or whatever that stuff is. Perfect. No weird
Yeah.
sound driver things. I don't know what Windows dev issues are. I've never done it. I'm being a shit. I'm sorry.
No.
It's this Thai iced tea. It's just going straight to my head.
You got dim sum and Thai iced tea. You're like an Asian fusion
So
black belt
yeah,
tonight.
I mean, I live in Connecticut. There is no every Asian restaurant is a Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese place.
It's fine. It's fine. That's
little-
America, right? That is the immigrant story
America.
right there. Yeah.
Well, I appreciated the like delicious like Vietnamese restaurants in San Francisco, but I understand that in outside of New York on the East Coast, like there may not be enough of a community to support that kind of restaurant. So I'm glad that I can get a Thai iced tea at all. I'm
Yeah.
grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we built this block editor. We this entire window down here with our game components in it, we built entirely from scratch. Because we were using a different tool that came with Unity and it just wasn't really working for us. And then Jeff did this amazing thing where if you have two views, it'll actually sync the left and right half of the world, so we can build both at once. And then we get to see oops, wrong keyboard shortcut. You can see like where you can teleport with these little dots on each side. They're a little subtle on the rock skin, but they're still there for help.
We went
and
a
then-
good long while, and certainly through the duration of the entire game jam, without the ability to synchronize the cameras and without the ability to see where the teleport spots were.
And it's amazing that we built any levels at all.
It was incredible that we were able to do it at all. I think
Yeah.
I think Steve had this brilliant technique of like adding one of the blocks that jumps across, because we did add a little bit of like visualization on the other side. We had that little
Yeah.
shadow there,
When you
and he was
place this,
using
you can
that as
sort
a
of see
marker,
it.
right? I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, that was really smart, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when we place this like entrance pad and start the game, the player beams in here. And the game is actually gonna start in this third window down here, so we can see individual levels up top, and you can teleport between them. And this is how we built the whole thing.
It's pretty wild.
pretty
Everything
wild,
is
it's
just a bunch of blocks.
Yeah, and then you can switch from block to decoration, and then you can put you get some palm trees in here and some of that, get a little rocky stuff. The things respond to the terrain you place them on. So like if I place a plant over here, it's bright green. On the beach, it kind of gets like a beachy yellow tone.
When do they turn purple?
They turn purple on the alien tiles, or these high tech ones. So I'll put a couple of those in here too.
Right.
And it's just because the purple plants look really good. So you put these in, you get these nice like alien trees that just add a good old pop of color.
So I remember thinking while I was like using this decoration system that I always wanted more variety of rocks. But the fact that there are basically 3 or 4 rocks and you can just rotate them and smash them together and actually be somewhat convincing that there's diversity is like maybe a microcosm of the entire game development process for this, where it's like we had actually a fairly limited palette of building blocks, no pun intended, to actually make the game. But like that pile of rocks looks pretty unique, even though there's only 2 different things that Dom is putting in there, right?
It's true. We do have we have a bunch of like fun. Where are my hero props? I do have a whole folder of like fun shit to drag into the level too, which is really great. Like,
yeah, I mean, I did a fair amount of that too, but most of the decoration of the game is like kind of putting together the little rocks.
and it works. It's really
That's a
strangely
fucking
effective.
professional quality game right there. This level's incredible. Ship it.
Okay, yeah, I'll put this right in Git for you.
You'd be
and-
shocked how much the taking like a few models and mashing them at different scales and rotations is like pretty standard operating procedure, even for like high-end games.
Yes, I believe it. That
Sure.
became my way of doing sound effects towards the end of the game too. It's just like, I need to make a teleport sound effect. I'm just going to Google teleport, download 5 sound effects. Which of them do I want? All of them. I'm just gonna put them all together.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
in the industry they call it like kit bashing. I think it comes from
Yeah.
the old like Star Wars days where you'd buy a bunch of model kits off the shelf and just like move this thing to this thing and blah blah blah.
Yep.
And all of a sudden you're like, it's an X-wing.
Yeah.
Yeah, artists do that all the time. We're like reappropriate, stairs to create some weird pattern on the side of the wall and all this stuff.
It works. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this. I think I was initially like, I got kind of spooked halfway through. Because I was like, can we really recombine like a couple rocks and plants and boxes into level design? And so I went in and I added like, I was like, oh shit, we need like 20 more rocks and then we need more trees. I don't think we used any of these trees. Maybe once.
The cute little pine trees.
I had like a moment of panic where I was just like, is there enough? Like, what if someone notices that there's not enough rocks and tree variation in the game? What are they gonna? They're gonna hate it. They're gonna ask for their money back.
Someone might notice. We'll see.
And you know what? I kid bash the hell out of this game.
Yeah.
That's the answer. Yeah, it came out great. We have some fun. Do I have an editor open? Oh, it's gonna be. I'm gonna do a little annoying. Where's my game manager? I'm gonna put it in cinema mode for how we record the trailer and
let's do it.
stuff. It's also just nice. It's like the closest look you can get at the.
We got away with not having an in-game console in this game. Anytime we want to like actually change the way it behaves, we just recompile the code. Which is, I think, workable, and maybe another testament that Unity is actually not horrible at this.
I quite like Unity. I mean, this is the biggest game I've made.
Yeah.
I think we could like, a case could be made that like Unreal is maybe slightly more put together. Unity is kind of like the messiest friend in the game industry right now, as far as I can tell, with their like firings and acquisitions and stuff. But
it certainly seems like a plane on fire right now.
Yeah, but I was reading about like Godot development. Everyone's like, oh well, that also. Oops, I forgot to comment out one more thing. Everyone was like, Godot also kind of falls apart at big projects, which totally makes sense because it's hard to make game editors. So I don't know. I feel like we'll always have things to complain about, or tools about.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, like ultimately, I think it's a very difficult argument to make against Unity still. Like,
oh yeah,
I don't know. Yeah.
We did abuse like the multi-camera thing we're doing. Very weird.
Yeah.
Unity did not appreciate it. Got one more option. Now we're just back in a development stream. I miss doing game dev on Twitch. It's time to return to that maybe. So we have a bunch of modes where it's like, one is turn off the UI, one is keep the lights on both sides so it looks better in the screenshots.
Yeah.
One is when you teleport, the camera comes with you, which looks really, really nice. And then we have this single viewport mode. So.
Did you ever make anything? Did you ever make a video that didn't need to follow the player for teleporting? Like, did you ever have anything where you wanted to like move the player to the other side and then have them appear suddenly somewhere else?
We did a couple like that, and it looked a lot worse than this effect, because this effect is just neat.
I'm actually kind of shocked at how smooth that is. I mean, we're watching through Zoom. People are watching on Twitch. People are watching it through Zoom through Twitch. But I'm actually kind of astonished that it's that smooth and there's like no like tearing and that kind of. I don't know why I should be astonished, because it's not like it's complicated geometry. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, like I think the thing is like we made a complicated game, but not that complicated.
Yeah.
Jeff, I'm just gonna go into one of your levels and maybe spoil it a little bit, but I think this one just has such a nice effect as you pop back and forth.
The sort of like the night sky in particular is just beautiful.
Yeah.
With the parallax.
Yeah, this is in our trailer. I think this particular shot, and just looks really good.
How does the skybox work? Is it just there's no actual parallax, is there?
No, it's a shader that's animating. It's blending two textures at varying levels, so there's a little star.
So there is a little bit of sense of parallax, but
a little bit, yeah. Well, I think no parallax. I think we have this skybox is the free version of a nicer skybox asset, and turns out we never needed more.
Okay. Yeah.
but it's got a daylight cloud texture and a starry night texture. And we can actually blend any two textures we want, but you basically just set a slider of like how much of each are you seeing, and then how fast are they rotating. So there's no parallax.
Yeah.
But it just makes a nice effect. You can actually see that there's a star poking through this cloud here because it's just blending a star on top of a cloud texture.
And there is
and
some
this-
foreshortening that they're doing on this, right? So like the game is isometric, but the skybox is perspective E, right?
Yeah, I don't quite understand that part because like it's in the camera, so the camera's deciding how this should look. But also it's rotating in a certain way. So yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah.
What it is it looks really cool.
It looks cool. It looks really cool. I mean, this, it's almost a shame that the game isn't this because it just looks so rad, you know, like there's a certain, like the whole conceit of this game is that you have two halves of the screen that you're zigzagging back and forth between, but like this looks super rad, right? It's like you would just play this game, although it'd get old really quickly, right?
It's like it's a whole different game, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you. It'd be really cool. Trying to make it motion so I'll spin slower.
Yeah.
I'm having to hold the controller very gently. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. It's almost 11 o'clock here. We got a couple minutes left of our scheduled stream. So what else is on your mind?
Yeah. Well, first of all, because we're getting close to the end of time, I'd like to invite the stream to once more go to stereoboygame.com/launch. We'll send you the game for free as long as we've got Steam keys to give out.
Like so happily. I just want.
But if you missed that giveaway, it's okay. We have a 25% off discount for launch. I don't know if we can extend it past the first week. I think Steam will let us do whatever we want.
They have rules. You have to like go back to normal price for a second. They're very particular. This arcology level Jeff built is really nice. It's at the very end of the game though. You got to get those.
There's some juicy stuff that, you know, if the game's getting a little difficult for you or you're starting to bounce off it, stick with it. Stick with it. Yeah. Jeff and Dom are your friends. Steve is your friend too. Steve might even be even more of your friend.
Steve's our friend. Yeah.
And
we have one very nice review. I don't want to milk my friends for reviews, but also like if you like the game, like leave some nice words on Steam.
It would help us a lot.
Yeah, it helps us a lot.
Like
it's not the point of this stream, but also please do it.
if we were late on doing play testing, we were definitely late on doing any kind of promotion and marketing. Like everything that we're doing right now is basically word of mouth, which is okay.
We should have done this 6 months ago.
we should have done this before we started the game. Yeah, it's true.
That's fine.
But you know, I think the goal for us, you know, Dom and I are working full time on this. We're trying to prove to ourselves that we can actually make video games, and I'd say the answer is not yet no. Right? That's basically where we're at right now.
Man, I got a video game on Steam. The answer is resoundingly yes.
Yeah.
I just like sometimes I just open Steam and look at this and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
Well, we hope folks can play it. It helps.
Oops, sorry.
No, it's okay. That music track is pumping. It doesn't appear in the game at all. Maybe I should just shut up and we can watch the trailer. Because I was just going to ask people to like and subscribe, basically.
Yeah, like, subscribe, play the game, play. If you don't want to spend money on it, play it for free and tell us if you like it. If you don't like it, you can also leave a negative review on Steam. But I'd rather you tell us what you don't like so we can actually like learn from it. One of my friends gave me like a pretty like rough review where a lot of things didn't work for them, and I am so into it because I learned a ton. And I'm going to ask them for feedback early on next time. I don't know if I agree with it all, but I love hearing what doesn't work. It's really helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
That was a negative note to end on. This game's fucking fun.
I think it's always good when you can have fun playing your own game, right? Because it's really easy to just get so used to the grind of it. And I think I still have fun playing Stereo Boy, which is good, especially because I actually still know I know all the answers to the puzzles too. Mm-hmm. I'm in particular, Ada Adorable in chat was joking about the speed run, but I bet there are like some serious sequence breaks in the game that we haven't even thought about. That like it would basically be making it in my book if we went on to YouTube one day and somebody like speed ran this game and like basically broke the entire game. Right?
Oh, that made me so happy. Yeah, if we haven't introduced those breaks, let's make sure the next game has some I feel like if you make a Metroidvania these days, like they intentionally put skips in there in really interesting ways, and it's hard for me to conceive of, but I love it.
Yeah. I mean, what greater flattery is there if somebody like cares about your game enough to like beat it really fast, right?
I know, isn't that cool? Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for hanging out, everybody. This was really fun. I really enjoyed playing the game. Steve, thanks for making this with us and being the voice of reason and also like the voice of expertise as Jeff and I fumbled our way through this.
Yes. This is a great group of people to make video games with. And hopefully we'll be able to get to game number 2 very quickly.
I'm ready. I'm gonna go to Burning Man and then we're gonna make game number 2.
Yes. All right, go to stereoboygame.com/launch, fill out the form, get the game for free. We want people to play it more than anything. You don't need to send us money. We'll just send you the game today.
Yeah. That'd be really happy.
After that point, you're gonna have to send us $6 and we'll get you the game. All right,
Cool.
folks. Thank you for joining us on the stream. If you like the game, please put out a kind word for us. It'll help a lot.
Yeah. Have a great night, everybody.
Good night.
See you later.